Do you ever want to take transit from New Jersey to Staten Island, but both Google and Transit app tell you to swim across the Arthur Kill instead? No? And even if it did, you wouldn't want to take it seriously now, would you? Well, of course not, but what if we kinda did? No, 29 down the line and I did not swim across the Arthur Kill, but we did take this alternate path instead. Hello, everybody. My name is Charlotte9819, and welcome back to Surveyors of Staten Island, the series where 29 down the line and I explore the transit and infrastructure of New York City. Last time, 29 talked about the Hudson Bur-
Hello, passengers.
the Hudson Bur-
Hello, passengers.
the Hudson Bur-
The Hudson Bergen Light Rail.
Ugh. The Hudson Bergen Light Rail, or as it should be called, the Hello Passengers, because it won't shut up. It is a very good light rail otherwise. Having been dropped off by the Hello Passengers in Bayonne, we are finally ready to enter the titular Staten Island, but not via transit. When we were first planning this adventure, both Google and Transit app did not show us any transit we could have used to cross. However, it did tell us to go to a random point in New Jersey, swim across the Arthur Kill, and then hop on a bus once we got to Staten Island. We interpreted this as there being no transit we could take. This isn't actually true. The S89 bus does run across the Bayonne Bridge, however, this is a weekday-only express service which didn't work for us. There are also plenty of buses that use the Goethals Bridge downstream, but once again, they are weekday-only express services. Not wanting to swim for, I hope, obvious reasons, we concluded, screw it, why not do the next closest thing and just walk across the Bayonne Bridge? And that is exactly what you are about to see. Hello everybody, and welcome back to Adventures with me in 29, and today...
This is insane.
This is stupid. We're gonna walk across the Bayonne Bridge, because there's no easy transit, so we just got off the Hudson Bergen Light Rail, the southern end of it, and we want to go to Staten Island, because I want to ride the Staten Island Road, because I've always been a little bit fascinated by it. But there's no easy transit from the New Jersey end to the Staten Island
Unless
end.
you want to go via Manhattan or Brooklyn.
Which is stupid. So, but there is on the Bayonne Bridge, crossing over to Staten Island, there is a sidewalk. A separate, bike sidewalk. So that's what we're doing.
Yeah.
You know, many people have said before that the path to get to New York, or in our case today, we took it to get to New Jersey. But the path for the bridge
It's a path.
It's a path. We're taking path to New York.
We're taking a path to New York.
Taking a path to New York, yes. Yeah, taking path to Staten Island.
Path to Staten Island. Yay.
Yay. Let's cross
3,
that.
2, 1, go. Okay.
Here we go.
Yay.
Yay. So,
8 seconds in and I'm already... This is just up. Oh my gosh.
I'm cold.
You want gloves?
I'm fine. Oh,
You're from Georgia. That's my...
Yes, 87 million degrees is cold
It's a
for
New York
me.
State route shield already.
Huh. Wait, where's
Where
the
is
border?
the border?
That
That's
is
a
a
good
good question. Where is the border? You got the two sides.
Where?
Ooh, this and that. They marked it
No,
off.
halfway down.
Halfway
Border's
down?
Halfway across, yeah.
Then why is there a New York route
This
shield?
is not going to take an hour. No
No,
way.
this is not taking
Google
an hour.
thinks this is going to take us an hour.
Well, Google thinks people walk at the speed of ants, so
That is true.
speed
But
limit 15 miles an hour.
This will be our second time walking into the city of New York today.
Yes,
Technically.
technically, because we walked from Mount Vernon into New York. Clip here.
That's the city limit. So let's walk into the Bronx.
Ooh, we're in the Bronx.
We're in the Bronx now.
Anyways, probably should just get some miscellaneous history again.
More educational reading material.
Port Authority of New York and New Jersey,
Bayonne
and one of the great
Terminal.
designers of the 20th century. Amont's innovative design helped manage traffic between Staten Island, Bayonne, and Manhattan.
Served by
It also
the
enabled the Kill
CNJ.
the key shipping channel for the port of New York and New
This was
Jersey,
the
to remain
bridge.
open for construction. In 1985, the American Society of Civil Engineers designated the bridge a National Historic Civil Engineering Landmark. The bridge is 7,160 feet long. The main span arch is part of the original structure. It stretches 1,675 feet over the Kill Coal and rises to a height of 325 feet. The original approach structures consisted of steel girders supported by concrete.
We were on the Hudson Bergen Light Rail, and a guy was like, "Oh, do you know Miles in Transit?" Shout out to that guy. He was cool. And we mentioned that we were doing this, and he's like, "I swear there was a bus that took you over the bridge." No, there isn't.
and then it's gonna pass us by on the highway, and we'll be like, ah! But no, it's
headed on out. No, let's go. Massive children at slow, children at play, plastered on the road.
So, I'm actually surprised at how many pedestrians we've seen. We're not the only ones walking this.
No.
You can see it.
There's Staten Island. There it is. There's the city.
It's a cool view.
I didn't know there was a big wind turbine, but there is. I should probably stop for it. It's the most jank video on earth.
Yeah.
Ooh, New York. Ooh, spooky. Nightmare Before Christmas skeleton. Ooh. Looking at the river. There's a container port up this way that's also Conrail shared assets. Because the history of the Staten Island Railroad when it comes to freight operations is really bizarre. Because it was originally its own thing. And then when the B&O wanted to get to New York, they bought the stock in the Reading and the CNJ and got trackage rights up from Philadelphia. And then they built the Staten Island as a fully owned subsidiary from a junction somewhere out there along the Reading. Actually, I think it was the CNJ. And then, like, the Baltimore and Ohio owned it throughout the 60s into Chessie system. And then in the 80s, the actual transit part of it was spun off to the MTA, and the freight portion was bought by the New York, Susquehanna, and Western, the Delaware Oswego Corporation. And they operated for a good number of years. And then I think the D&H, when Canadian Pacific bought the D&H, they made a play for it, but that failed. Just like everything else involving Canadian Pacific and the Delaware and Hudson. Gosh knows why they bothered, but... And then, it mostly sat dormant throughout the 90s. But in the 90s, there was this big push in New York to get more shipments to freight rail. So they revived it. And it became a part of Conrail shared assets. So...
You know what'd be great?
What?
Ferries. Also, look, more bridges.
More bridges. So that's the history of, I guess, the freight portion of Staten Island Railroad, which is over there. You can't see, I mean, we're gonna pass by it, maybe, hopefully.
We're gonna get buses to somewhere.
This is just an excuse for me to ramble on our crossing the Bayonne Bridge video.
Yeah.
Ooh, a tugboat.
Can they give us a ride? Like, I really feel like it's not that hard to run a ferry.
No.
Or a bus.
No.
Or, I don't know, micro transit. Like, I'd take a bird scooter, I'd take...
Literally anything.
Time check. 10 minutes.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. I'm alternating between sweating and freezing.
Yeah. Hey, question for all you New York people. How many of you have walked to Staten Island before? If I had to guess, not many.
Not via the...
Because I think...
Via the ferry doesn't count.
Via the ferry doesn't count.
Oh, that's pretty right there. Boat. Isn't that pretty? The bridge. And then the big scary drop down, which I'm not putting my phone over because I am not risking that. There's the line. New York, New Jersey. Pull up. I'm gonna step across into New Jersey or New York.
Hello from New Jersey.
Hello from New York. Oh my gosh. Take a look at that. That's cool. If it would focus. There we go. Maybe if I zoom in, it will focus more. Yeah, it will. Some nice boat action right here. There are multiple tugboats. There's one down there. There's one up there. Shot of the toll and of the bridge and of the neighborhood and of the rail right away, which is abandoned. You can very clearly see it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, old freight railroad. There's a speed limit for bikes. Your speed.
The fact that it can go up to 100 is
Concerning.
concerning for bikes. Yeah.
Yeah. There are still rails in the right of way. I don't know what potential freight customers you'd have on the other side of Staten Island.
Well, aren't there some customers on Staten Island?
There are, but they're all on this side of Staten Island. There's not the other side, because on the other side, so the Staten Island got divided in two. Section on the eastern side, which is the Staten Island Railroad, which is it's isolated from everything else. It's only passenger. And then on the west side, which is the Continental Shared Assets side, they have a couple of industries. The main one is on the southern end. There is a garbage area. They bring trash trains in there. And there's an intermodal facility there down that way. And a couple of other scattered customers. But the section from about over there, like on the other side of that bridge maybe, out to St. George, it's still in place, as you can see, but it's not used. It's abandoned. Although, I don't know, maybe the Staten Island Railroad one day will get another line out here. They'll rebuild it out to this way. I don't know, Port Richmond line? We're almost there.
You can see the end of the bridge.
There it is. And there's the bus terminal, I think, where we get the buses. There's New York. Ooh.
Yeah, this is the end. Here's the timer.
Yes. 3, 2, 1.
29:47.
Hey! What did Google say?
Well, Google calculated from like the 8th Street to the bus an hour. We did it in like 40.
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Google once again wrong when it comes to walking times.
Yep.
Anyways, now let's catch a bus to the Staten Island Railroad. Yay! Woo!
Enjoy the path. Did we?
Listen, unlike actual path, this has no filming restrictions, so I would say yes.
Enjoyed.
Also,
Path has been enjoyed, but different path. Still Port Authority though.
Now for the debrief. Crossing the Bayonne Bridge made me realize a few things. First, Google thinks people walk at the speed of ants, or maybe just me and 29 walk fast, I really don't know. Second, and more importantly, both New Jersey and Staten Island could benefit from increased transit connection. Having a series of weekday-only commuter buses is fine, however, unless you are a part of that specific niche of transit rider, having to go all the way via Manhattan just for a simple jaunt across the Arthur Kill is, frankly, ridiculous in my opinion. As for what those services could look like, you could extend the Hudson-Bergen Light Rail onto Staten Island, or more realistically, just run local buses across the Bayonne, Goethals, and Outer Bridge bridges. If it's a jurisdictional issue preventing MTA or NJT from doing this, well, the Port Authority of New York and New Jersey exists to handle these cross-jurisdictional transit and infrastructure issues, so just have them spin up a bus network of their own. So that was us crossing the Bayonne Bridge in this fundamentally unserious video. Thank you to 29 Down the Line and Dan Hominem for both being in this video in varying capacities. The next Surveyor of Staten Island will be up on 29's channel as we take a bus ride through New York City's strangest borough. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye, everybody.